Patrick.
Yes, Joe.
I didn't think it was much of a game.
Oh, man, our lad was under fire.
Yep.
It's one of the rare, racy, accurate predictions, although I certainly never expected this butt kicking. But
Right.
I think the reason I said I thought the Bucks would probably win is because they couldn't block the two ends, and they could not block the two ends. Or that linebacker, Devin White, is a monster for Tampa. And I thought our guy lost his composure, don't you?
I do.
Mahomes?
I do.
I think what are you hope to accomplish by retreating 30 yards? That's
Right.
not going to work. So,
Right.
And he obviously that broken toe is as the game progressed, he seemed to start hobbling more and more the more he got hit. But what a beating!
Yep.
I hate to say this, but do you have the feeling that perhaps Andy Reid was so rattled by what his son did that he really had a hard time doing his usual preparation the last few final days for this game? I just,
I do believe that, Pat. I do. I want to believe that. I want to believe that it got to him as a human.
Well, he had two sons. They're twins, and they were just complete rounders. And this was kind of the prize of the two. This guy had gotten straightened out to the point he made him a coach on the team, and now he might have either killed or significantly damaged a young child and hurt two young girls driving drunk. And I got to think that everything Andy hoped he had accomplished with this kid just blew up in his face and his brain, and that just didn't look like the same guy.
I agree with you. I think it was a shadow over that club, don't you?
Yes, I do. I think that they'd made the kid a assistant special teams coach or something, and I think everyone was excited about his recovery. And meanwhile, he was obviously falling into his unfortunate ways of the past. And I don't know. I just thought that they were not. They were not into it from the get-go. Now, I would question half of those penalties that were called on them.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me that the Bucs defensive backs got away with a lot more than the Chiefs defensive backs did as far as holding and grabbing people. But that said, the first half, the officiating certainly leaned the Bucs' way, but it turned into such a butt kicking that there can be no complaints about that. I mean, it was just a slaughter, and they just couldn't block them. And another Super Bowl ring for Tom Moore, the 82-year-old former Rochester High School star who coached with the Vikings for a number of years, then was with Peyton with the Colts, and was brought in by Arians as a special consultant. And it made me think of how Tice used to tell me that the best seminars he ever had as a coach were when he would get Tom on Friday nights. They would go to the TGIF bar in Bloomington, and he'd get some red wines in Tom Moore, and he'd start drawing pass protection on bar napkins.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't protect, you can't play. And we saw that yesterday. If you can't protect, you can't play. So,
right. Pat, given the way he's played all year and the way he played yesterday, there's really no reason to believe Brady can't do this again.
No, halfway through the year he was being questioned. He didn't look good. And apparently, this is not BS, he came to Arians and said, let's stop doing all this fancy stuff that you want to do, and we're going to run the ball. Let's run it straight ahead, and let's throw screen passes. Let's throw the ball short. That's what I do, and then every once in a while we pump it up and throw it over the top.
Yep.
And I think Brady took charge of the offense, and that's what happened. And Leftwich, the big old quarterback that is their offensive coordinator there, and I think has more responsibilities than Bieniemy does with Kansas City, and signed on to that too. And they just changed the way they played offense. one reason they did was they looked so rotten against the Vikings. They were lucky to beat the Vikings. They were just stumbling all around, and and the last time they played the Chiefs, they got drilled in the first half. But the Chiefs, they had, not only did they not have their best tackle, Eric Fisher, who was like all-pro left tackle, but they were missing their right tackle too. So they were missing both their tackles, and the strength of the Bucs is those two defensive ends are fantastic. So I guess I didn't expect a mismatch, but I'm not surprised at the outcome.
No, and I bet you really enjoyed the weekend, huh? That performance.
I did not watch the weekend. How is the weekend?
I didn't watch much of it either. He had a bunch of people out there dressed up in bandages like they were burn victims.
Right. And Vulcans with the red coats, retired Vulcans.
Is that supposed to be funny?
Pat, I was lost. I'm lost.
I didn't get it either.
I usually time her for about 22 minutes at halftime and turn it back. And by then, at least I saw the end of the fireworks display, so they were shooting off the fireworks. But that game really slowed down in the second half. Wow, it was moving along pretty good there for a while. So.
Yeah.
But it was one of them. Remember we used to complain about one-sided Super Bowls? Well, this was one of those, that's for sure.
It just wasn't what I expected at all. It really wasn't.
Oh, God, no. God, no. It wasn't what Pat Mahomes expected either.
Right.
He did not expect it to get steamrolled like that, that's for sure.
I bet he put more miles on yesterday than he had in any game this year running around.
That's right. I said on Twitter this morning, Joe, I learned two things in the last 13 hours. Good tackles are going to cost another $4 or $5 million extra every year after watching that game yesterday.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. It's a domestic thing. When you are 10 minutes from home and think you left the garage door open on a below-zero day and drive back to check, it's always closed.
I've done it myself, son.
And here's the deal. I had the option of calling home and saying, hey, could you check if I left the garage door open?
Right.
But it wouldn't have been worth the abuse if I had left the garage door open.
Right. You made the right call.
God.
I just decided to do the 10-minute reverse rather than check myself that if indeed I had left the garage door open, it wouldn't have been worth it to.
What she doesn't know will give you peace of mind.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. That's right.
That's true for sure. Kenny, I believe you said that I was the kiss of death when I said the Bucs were going to win, or did you?
Yeah.
I expect an apology here.
Pat, well, you're right. You know what? You're right. I apologize. But in my defense, this might be the first time you've ever picked correctly. So,
at least when there was some doubt about the outcome, it's probably the first.
Yeah,
time,
but you are right, and I apologize.
I usually am on the other end of it. That's for sure. So,
well, Patrick, we won't have Monday Night Sports Talk tonight, but we'll have a Tuesday night edition tomorrow. How's that?
Version, because I'm out in the sticks here and trying to round up a piece for later in the week. So it's like those days when I had the 440 call in, and I was 7 miles to the next town, and I always would say, "Can I make it and find a payphone?"
Right.
Or should I take the sure thing? And, of course, I always drove and ended up being late. So,
roll the dice.
Yes, always roll the dice. That's true.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Hey, for you GLers who've been hearing me lavish praise on Red Savoy Pizza, I've been doing so for good reason. I love it. It's what I get. And there's a special deal for GLers. For a limited time, you can get an order of free bone-in or boneless wings with the purchase of the pizza. But this is for GLers. You can't walk in unless you're on the app, unless you signed up to do it. To take advantage of this Red Savoy special, visit SavoyPizza.com or go on the Savoy app to build the pizza you want. Then add an order of wings to your order and use the promo code GL at checkout. You're getting the wings for free. You're getting them for free. It's an online offer only, and it will be for a limited time. So go give Red Savoy Pizza a try and enjoy an order of free wings on us. And let me tell you something. This isn't the Chicago deep dish pizza. This isn't New York's giant slices. This is soda style, born in a bar in 1965. It's cut in squares and thin crust, heavy on the cheese and toppings. It's just the best, and you can get it now all over the metro. Apple Valley, Blaine, Burnsville, Eagan, Eden Prairie, Edina, Hugo, Lakeville, Soon, Osseo, Roseville, St. Louis Park, downtown St. Paul, White Bear Avenue in St. Paul, Snelling Avenue in St. Paul, Vadnais Heights in Woodbury. And remember, you want the free wings? That's an order. That's a special for you GLers. It's an online special, and use GL at checkout. Check it out yourself. Red Savoy Pizza. It's the best. It's been the best since 1965.
Man, I bet so many GLers took full advantage of that during the Super Bowl.
I think
Don't you
so.
think?
I would.
Hell yeah, double sausage and make it crispy.
No, you just the house special is my favorite. You get enough sausage.
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
Take it. GLers, as Joe plays bass, Sioux Falls is the place, and now is the time. Sioux Falls has build-ready sites and available buildings to get your company up and running fast. Any size company will find fewer taxes, less red tape, and higher profits in Sioux Falls. Check out the website, SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
I was telling you about something called the snowplow test. That is the headline given to a piece written in the American Conservative by a guy named Rod Dreher. And what he did is apparently read a Los Angeles Times column by a woman named Virginia Heffernan, who was stationed on the East Coast, and to avoid COVID, she's now living in some rural area in the East Coast. And I think she wrote a column called What to Do About the Trumpites Who Live Next Door, something like that,
Correct.
Kenny? Yeah.
Correct, yes.
And this guy, whoever Rod is, he wrote it, and he's having a lot of fun with it. He writes, the Los Angeles Times columnist Virginia Heffernan, who lives in Brooklyn Heights, but who lives somewhere rurally to escape COVID, recently had a dilemma. Her Trump-loving neighbors did something nice for her. She doesn't know what the right thing to do about it is. Now, stop right there. Normal people don't have this problem. Normal people think, man, that was nice, and start thinking of a way to return the kindness. But normal people are not Harvard-educated, New York-based liberal journalists, hence Heffernan's revealing column excerpts. Oh, the Trumpites next door to our pandemic getaway, who seem as devoted to the ex-president as you can get without being Q fans, just plowed our driveway without being asked and did a great job. How am I going to resist demands for unity in the face of this act of aggressive niceness? Of course, on some level, I realize I owe them thanks. And, man, it really looks like the guy backdragged the driveway like a pro. But how much thanks? These neighbors are staunch partisans of blue lives, and there aren't a lot of anything other than white lives in the neighborhood. This is also kind of weird. Back in the city, people don't sweep other people's walkways for nothing. It takes a New Yorker to be confronted with someone doing something nice for them and get suspicious about it. That's what the author wrote. On January 6th, after the insurrection of Ben Sass issued an aw shucks plea for all Americans to love their neighbors, the United States, he said, isn't Hatfield's and McCoy's, the blood feud forever. And he said, you can't hate someone who shovels your driveway. And then here's this woman and she faces this from the offer. Let me tell you something, Virginia. Your neighbors probably have no idea who Ben Sass is and isn't looking to reconcile with you, much less receive your absolution. They just wanted to do something nice for you because you are their neighbor, and that's what neighbors do. In fact, the fact that you assume there must be some politically aware motive behind the action says a lot about you. I grew up in the rural South, and trust me, nobody stopped to ask what one's politics were before doing something nice for them. This is not how people who live outside the blue state cosmopolises. And so